Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my day 2 vlog for Final Fantasy XIV's Fan Festival. Obviously, I'm not in Las Vegas anymore. I'm back home. It was a late night with an early flight, so I decided to save the day 2 recording for Sunday today and do it separately from Mondays with Mr. Happy because I'm already anticipating to have to tell a lot of stories regarding like questions I might receive on Mondays with Mr. Happy. So we'll see what happens, but I decided to do this separately. So day two, and this happened at the last fan festival. Day two is really kind of more of a relaxing day. You maybe get to the events you didn't get to, or you meet up with more free company members because you got all the stuff done on day one. For me, I handled this entire fan festival pretty much completely different from the fan festival that I had prior. So at the first fan festival, I was obsessed with doing every event and getting that little live quest thing done. The live quest is basically a series of tasks that they give you in order to get you to to just to do everything, to interact with a few other people, exchange hints and tips and ideas like that. And also a few extra rewards. Like this year's live quest, there were 4 more triple triad cards from the ones I showed you. I didn't collect any of them. I think it was like Minfilia, Hildebrand, and Nashu. And to be honest, I just don't remember what the other ones were. I wasn't too interested because I had a feeling I was going to damage those things before they even got back. So yeah, that's what we're going to go with. So, what do I want to talk about from day 2? Well, we have the live letter. The lore panel was okay. I mean, the thing is, a lot of the lore panel was they were trying not to overlap with the stuff that was in the book, the encyclopedia that I showed off. So there were just a few interesting things we may see, directions the story may go in terms of a lot of questions. One, of course, was somebody asked if Raubon could get a cybernetic arm. That's obviously a huge one. They also talked about Al Raz and how their horns are actually hollow so that they can hear using vibrations, and how their horns don't fall off, for example. So there was a few interesting tidbits in the lore panel, but I didn't really get to pay 100% attention to all of the panels that were there. The main reason being because I was trying to spend the entire second day meeting as many people as possible. At the first fan festival, I maybe took 100 pictures or whatever, and there's a lot of people who didn't get to take pictures or didn't get my signature for whatever it's worth to them. They didn't get my signature on anything. So I did this Thursday, I did this Friday, but I really wanted to do it Saturday. I just spent most of my time making sure that I was on the floor talking to people. I barely ate until like just before the concert. Made sure to bring my stick of deodorant with me. I had to reapply a few times because I was getting pretty sweaty on that second day. And then what else was there? We had the live letter. We had the concert, obviously, which I'll talk about in a little bit. I'll also talk about the Susan Calloway concert, but I ended up kind of just standing outside in the hallway during Susan Calloway concert because it was already so crowded in there that I was not going to be comfortable. So I could hear it and watch it kind of just from outside the hallway, and that worked out fine for me. So I feel like I'm missing an event. So we had, oh, that's right, the PvP exhibition, which there's not really much to say. Teams competed 4v4 until there was only one winner. They got a shirt, but they also got to face Yoshi P and his team in an exhibition. And it's an exhibition, but normally when it's like an exhibition, you're going up against a team that's like, I guess, considered superior. Like, and it's like, oh, it's just an exhibition for fun. If you win, you lose. Maybe they mess around a little bit. And man, did Yoshida and team mess around a little bit. First of all, Yoshida literally ran towards the fight. All 4 of the people who were in the final, in that final match on the other team, went after him, and he sprinted and ran right the other way because we all knew as soon as Yoshi P is put on a black mage in the feast, they're going for him. Like, everybody knew that was going to be the result. Although I tried to get them to go after the scholar. Sorry, Shannon. And then so after that, they were doing things like the ranger poses and things like that. So it was kind of silly. So it was pretty much a stomp fest, but it was funny for what it was. During the latter half of the PvP exhibition, however, we held an unofficial event, something that wasn't on the schedule itself. Right after Koji had his signing, which I believe was from 1 to 2 o'clock in the hallway across, I actually, well, not just me. I was going to say, me, Ethis, Mary, Miztech, Sly, and then a few other people came by. I know Scalia was there. I didn't see a Nero, and I didn't see a few other people, but we all gathered in the hallway outside. And we did meet and greet. Anybody who hadn't gotten to see us the whole weekend, we gave them this hour-and-a-half block where they could come between 2 and 3:30, and it was just in the hallway outside. We tweeted out that it was going to be in that hallway that morning, so hopefully you saw that tweet. And it was fantastic. We had an unbelievable turnout. In that hour and a half alone, everyone all five of us must have taken at least 100 pictures each and then signed maybe 50 things each. And it was great because I know this was Ethos's first fan festival. Obviously, he lives in Australia, and he did the GoFundMe in order to get to fan festival itself, or at least to be able to survive as a human being and still go. This was Mary's first one. This was Miz's first one. She was not at the last one. This wasn't Sly's first one, but it's the first one since, he got his partnership, since he's been on State of the Realm. And so I had been kind of doing that thing the whole time where I was just stopping and talking to people because that's really the whole reason I was there. And it was great to see everybody approach everyone. It's not like Sly had less people or Miz or Mary or Ethos. Nobody had like a shortage of people. Most everyone was pretty much just going down the line, getting all five people's either signatures or a picture, or getting group pictures or videos or things like that. And it was fantastic. It was exactly what I hoped would happen. In fact, it was a little bit better. And we didn't get in trouble with the fire marshal because we were a pretty big fire hazard, but we didn't get in trouble. They just asked us to move to an opposite wall because the ballroom on the other side was being used for a different event, so they needed us to just clear out from the other side. That was perfectly fine. And it was great. I hope to see even more pictures on Twitter, on Facebook later today. Anybody, if you're here and you're watching and you took a picture, please tweet it at us. Whoever you took it with, Miz, myself, Ethos, Mary, Sly, anybody. Be sure to tweet it at us. Tweet it at Dream Network TV because we'd love to see all of your pictures and we'd love to share them on social media. All right, so after that, we had the live letter. Now, this live letter was pretty much like the old school live letters. And for the old school live letters, it was really a Q&A. Like, the most recent live letters went from being a Q&A to kind of just formal announcements of different events. And this one was back to the old school. And you know what? As much as I like the Q&A, I think I kind of like the idea of us doing half and half from this point on, where we have half of the live letter is just straight up announcements, the other half is questions. Because it kind of missed that feeling. But at the same time, when you do a full hour and a half of strictly questions, there's going to be some that are hit or miss. And some of them that are repeat questions because people who were able to watch the live letter and weren't able to watch the opening keynote the day before have some additional questions regarding things. And then there were some repeat questions from like the previous live letter. And, and there were some funny ones too. Like they finally asked about the dueling circle and why it's a square that's called a circle and it's Koji's fault. And now because of him, a bunch of people got to fix it. Maybe a dueling ring they could change it to because a boxing ring is a square. So maybe people would accept that. There were some other questions. There were no more Peach questions. I can promise you that. There's a lot of questions. I'm definitely going to need some help from my live chat. A lot of housing questions talking about increasing the furniture limit again, which was again another question we get all the time. Yeah, they also talked about the round square. Eggy Glamours were reconfirmed for 3.5, just like they were confirmed for 3.4. So I hold no weight in the statement that they are currently aiming for 3.5. I hold no weight in that statement. Just that's it. Nothing. I got it. That's it. And then the Paisa house was a big one. Another thing they talked about is the what's it called? Not the Wonder. Well, they did ask about the Wondrous Tales. They asked about mitigating the RNG on Wondrous Tales, but that's not what I was gonna say. And Speech just like, no. So there you go. He says if we make the RNG easier, we can't put good rewards there. So like we can't. There's no point in do you just want shittier rewards, but to get them more often? No, let's make it more fun. It's more fun the way that it is. Let's see. They also, they talked about the book in the inns where you're able to view all the cutscenes because they were talking about how the cutscene with Alcé, based on how much of Coil you finished. First of all, you can only see the main cutscene that you've earned once, and then the book just shows you the stock cutscene, and then there's the remaining cutscene that you don't get to see. And if they're going to do all these like branching cutscenes or any part where there's a branching cutscene, it'd be nice to be able to, as long as there's not a choice involved, be able to see them all, because just like they said with Coil, it's a lot of voice acting work that just straight up goes to waste. And it's a reasonable question. They said that they're not happy with the design of it either right now, so they'll take this back to the team, see if they can work on it after some time. But it's definitely difficult. It's impossible to do right now based on the way it's designed. So it just needs to be redesigned from the ground up, so that's possible. Let's see. They asked about Sophia Glam, and Koji made very, very odd choices of hand gestures to, like, he was trying to describe how her blouse just does this, but he didn't just do, oh, you know how like her blouse is like this. He was like this, and I'm like, and then Matt is like, you shouldn't be doing that right now. That's it. They asked about balconies for housing and windows, and they said that the way it works right now, like being able to view the actual outside of your apartment from the inside is not possible because the zone in which the house is located is not within the housing area. It's its own place on the server that's like way away from it. So that's another one that they said. They said maybe they could work on windows so you have a view or you could at least let some more light in. But yeah, there's problems with it server side that just based on the way it's designed and the way that it's placed in the server, it's not all one big thing. They're all separated. So it's definitely going to be another big part. Let's see. What else do we have here? Talked about upping the limit again. Oh, they also showed off some of the Halloween stuff. They didn't tell us what the Halloween event like was entirely yet, but they showed off the glam, and it's basically a cape around your neck. Oh, it's like a Dracula type cape around your neck, and it hangs off, and then you have the vest and the sleeve and the long sleeve shirt, and then that's it. It's just the top half. If you see the picture, the bottom half was stuff that was already in the game, so they want people to customize the bottom half however they think is hilarious enough. And they also showed off that there will be a mount from the new Halloween event from the All Saints Wake, and that's going to be if you've played Final Fantasy XI, I called it the Diverger chair, which is what the demon sits on. If you know Pandemonium Morden, it's basically the chair he sits on. Most people will probably compare it to the Owl Boss and it being his chair, but on a darker theme. But it's basically a devil's chair. It's a demon's chair, and it's a flying demon's chair. So it's going to be interesting to see that kind of all come together and how it actually looks. I've heard rumors that there's a haunted house in the game this year for the Halloween event. I don't know if that's true, but apparently, excuse me, I need to sneeze. I should have muted the microphone for that, but it was coming too fast. Couldn't stop myself. I've heard rumors of a haunted house based on some maps that I've seen pop up, but we'll see how that ends up panning out. So I'm interested to see that. What's more interesting is that the event page for the week for All Saints Week actually went live during FanFest, but the chair wasn't there. So I'm curious how the chair is actually going to be obtained. I'm a little curious about how that's going to be working. Oh yeah, people also asked why the creator gear wasn't dyeable, and they said they basically had to make a choice with the creator gear. Creator Savage. I'm sorry, why the creator Savage gear isn't dyeable, and they said they had to make a choice between doing slightly different designs or one of them being dyeable, and they went with slightly different designs for the creator Savage, and then people who want it to be dyeable, they want both basically. So, not making everyone happy if we only pick slightly different design and not dyeable versus dyeable but same design. So I guess somehow we got to marry those two ideas development time wise, but they just said that in terms of resources, there wasn't enough to get both done. So they just chose to go with the different designs altogether. Let's see. What else is there? Let's see. Squadron text lines was also a question. Yeah, why we can't talk to our squadron members. They said that there's no way that it would have happened this patch if they strictly because of the text if they had to do that. So they said it probably wouldn't have even come out till sometime in 2017. So they might see about adding some lines of dialogue in with the different squadron members just because there's so many of them, little by little. But if anything, it's just sprinklings here and there. It's not going to be like one giant text patch to the squadrons themselves. What else do we have? Let's see. Super Savage for odd patches. So they actually spoke about that they spoke about it again in the live letter. When they revealed the high-end raids as part of the opening keynote, they discussed how they were going through a bunch of different ideas for the raids, and they had not landed on an idea for 4.0's raids. So anything they said in the live letter the next day, kind of irrelevant because it was kind of just a repeat of the day before, where they kind of just presented a few ideas that they were having, but that nothing had been finalized. Like, for example, they said, oh, let's do the way 8-mans are now in the even number patches, and then a super difficulty for the odd. It's not normal and savage. It would basically be the equivalent of doing 3 difficulties, but it's like second coil style, but with a story mode in the even numbered patches also. So it's like, imagine if Savage now was like, imagine if the patch was like normal and hard. And what we have as Savage Creator now is the hard mode, for example. And then in the odd numbers patches, you get Savage. That's one of the ideas that they kind of alluded to because they can't produce 3 difficulties at once. But what they could do is they could do 2 difficulties, then 1 difficulty. And that is more of a feasible thing. So I'm hoping that is... I'm okay with that. I'm curious to see how if it affects their development. But there's also the rumor going around on the second day that Heavensward's budget was about one third of the budget that's going to be for Stormblood. Stormblood is triple the budget of Heavensward. Whether or not that's true, I have no way of verifying. So it's kind of up in the air. But there was a lot of the questions like that. They just kind of went over things they've gone over like in the past few months. They showed a few more previews of Palace of the Dead too. They all but confirmed that the final boss might be Nebeth. If you guys have played Tactics Ogre, the song that was playing, one of them was directly from Tactics Ogre. I don't know if it was Nebeth's theme, if he has one, because I've not played Tactics Ogre, but I heard a lot of whispers of it being Tactics Ogre, or of that being Nebeth, because in the trailer for 3.4, it was a Tactics Ogre song. So if that ends up being true, that's cool. I was hoping for Scarmiglione, but I guess this kind of makes sense considering in Tactics, in one of them, there is a Palace of the Dead in Tactics. So it kind of makes sense for it to be something along the line of Nebeth. And then they just showed off, they were showing off some of the final floors of Palace of the Dead, which seriously, they looked like they were outside. And apparently they showed a floor that's a bench and a tree. And I guess they took Hardware Hank's bench and stuck it on the 200th floor, because I'm assuming that bench is there for people who clear all 200 floors. It's like their place to like do poses at the very end of the 200th floor of Palace of the Dead. And he said that if you're somebody who's always wanted savage difficulty 4-man content, Palace of the Dead's 101 to 200 will probably satisfy your desire to get destroyed. Or perhaps if you sit on the bench, it fucking explodes and you die. So that's quite possibly a thing that they do, and they tell us that just so we go and kill ourselves. So yeah, I'm curious to see. But don't forget, floors 51 through 200 of Palace of the Dead, 200 being the final floor. Those come out in 3.45. We're expecting that in about a little bit over 2 weeks. So hopefully it comes out at about that time. So what else am I thinking of? And then there was the Primals concert. This Primals concert was maybe they just fixed the audio up, but this Primals concert was way above the Primals concert we had 2 years ago at the last fan festival. So they performed some Realm Reborn songs, some Heavensward songs. The Heavensward song sounded fantastic. They started with Thornton's theme, which was phenomenal. They did Ravana with Koji doing the audio. Ravana was metal as hell. Like, they took a Ravana song that was like a waltz, and they turned it into heavy metal, and it was fantastic. Like, I cannot wait for the Duality album. Just take my money. Just take it. I want it. Just give it to me now. No, they didn't lip sync. They had voice modifiers in the microphone. They confirmed it was lip sync. That's weird, because he was talking into the microphone, and they had the microphone voice module, and they did the same thing. He's talked into that microphone before, and it just does the voice module. He's done it live before, so I don't know. I don't think that was entire. I think that some of the band was probably lip syncing, but probably not Koji. I'm pretty sure Koji was actually singing when they show that the microphone has the module. And obviously with Titan, you can tell when he's singing for certain parts. It was mixed. There you go. His voice mod was mixed with the original. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's normal. That's normal for concerts for that to happen. Yeah, I thought you said he was lip syncing the whole thing. No, he doesn't lip sync the whole thing. Yeah, that's how concerts work, where they play like the original track over it, so they can like move around and be more mobile on the stage. What else was there? So we had the Ravana. They didn't do Bismarck, which I guess is not really a surprise, because Bismarck just dun 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 dun, and then it's fucking over. What are you gonna do that for 10 minutes? And then you have the second part, which is pretty much the same thing. They did Fractal Continuum, which was kind of a surprise, but Fractal Continuum did have a really good theme. So I was perfectly okay with that. Or was it Etherochemical Research Facility? I thought it was Fractal Continuum. I think it was Fractal Continuum, and it was that was really good. That was just a plain track, and it was cool as hell. And then we had they re-performed Leviathan, which was the crowd favorite at the North American Fan Festival last time, and it sounded even better this year. I guess just like I said, the audio levels were taken care of way more. They also brought back Titan, which of course was another favorite. I'm really surprised they didn't bring back Mogomog, but I guess some people agree that it's kind of like one of those things. Maybe you just do it once and then you leave it aside. But I heard that at the rehearsals they were considering doing it, but they just decided not to for some reason. But I don't know if that's true. Let's see. I'm trying to think. What were something? I mean, I know what the final track was because the final track was fantastic. I feel like I missed a track. And oh, of course, Sephiroth. They performed Sephiroth live, which everybody was waiting for because everyone, you know the joke. Oh, it's Power Man. Oh, why is Power Man 5000 performing at Fan Festival? And honestly, when they performed it live, I couldn't even draw the parallels to that whole meme anymore because it came off as obviously whenever you're doing like whisper heavy metal, like where you whisper for parts of it and then you like yell for other parts, you hear those are always going to sound similar. All those songs are going to sound similar to some degree. Especially because the part of the whispering thing is you play a lower end, lower end audio, a bass. You play more of a bass when you're doing that because you're trying to sort of play it low. But when they performed it live, it sounded fan-fucking-tastic for the Sephiroth theme. It did not sound anything like the Power Man 5000 I felt, and it was metal as shit. It was metal. But then after that, they asked us what song we wanted them to re-perform. And last time they did it at the Primals concert, they re-performed a few of them, and that's because they have to buy time before they, do the final segment, or because they finish the sets and they're like, we have a few minutes here, let me see. Basically, they were going to take a break and come out with a couple more songs, but instead they took a 2-minute break and then came out and redid one song before doing Locust. And that was the finale. Everyone cheered for Brute Justice. I heard a few Mogomog cheers. There was a lot of Shiva cheers, which they didn't have prepared. Some Forward and Back, some Rise Up. But the one no one cheered for ended up being the one that people wanted most, and it's because no one guessed it to be performed so well live, and that was Locust. That was the Alexander theme, Locust, and that was easily the highlight for me. With the voice module that they used for it, it sounded pretty friggin' good. If you ask me, I don't know. This Duality album is gonna be sick. I cannot wait to see. I wish that they did have Brute Justice on there. I wonder if the Duality album is gonna have only the songs that we just heard, or if it's gonna have some other songs on there, because it would be pretty cool if it had a few more. Last time it had 6 tracks or 6 or 7 tracks. I think it had all the Realm Reborn Primals, and it didn't have Mogomog, I don't think. So I don't remember if it had Ultima. I don't think it had Ultima either. I think it was just the 6 Realm Reborn Primals other than Mogomog. And so this one, I'm curious to see if they just mix and match some of the old songs, and then they just throw in like Locust, Sephiroth, Thornton, and Ravana. Or if they actually go the full force and they remaster metal, because he's performed metal live, but never with the whole concert, or never with the whole band. And I mean, Forward and Back's kind of, I don't know if they could do Forward and Back, but I think they could do Rise Up. Like Rise Up, they need a completely different vocalist for Rise Up, so that one didn't surprise me. But I think it would be pretty cool. And then after that, they just did their final words, their thank yous, their goodbyes, and apparently they had a 5 a.m. flight, so they didn't come back out onto the stage. Like, they were out, like, super early in the morning and fly back to Japan because they got to get back to work, guys. On Monday, they go back to work. After all that, they go back to work on Monday. That is, oh. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, and then some other details chat's reminding me of. They mentioned that the 3.5 raid will start on an airship. That's another little detail that they mentioned. Okay. There you go. Interested to see how everything actually pans out. But that was it. That was Fan Festival. Last day we got to see so many people, get to talk to so many people. I thought this video was going to be shorter than day one, but it's me, so it can't be. And I did get my picture with Yoshi P. I did get all the signatures and what. I got all of them but Soken's. Soken was kind of hard to find for me because every time he was available, I wasn't. So it was just kind of fucked up, like the timing wise. He was always just he was out there when I wasn't. But FanFest was good. This FanFest was better. Merchandise line still shit show. They seriously need something that isn't, because I think they underestimate how fucking nuts people go for merchandise. How much people will pay for merchandise after paying for a hotel and paying for a flight or paying for gas and to drive there or whatever, and then making that. They don't seem to understand. Like, if you don't literally stock like 10,000 of every item, they're gonna sell out. If you don't, if you can have, you doesn't matter. You could have 10 registers. That does not make the merchandise line any faster because sometimes people don't know what they want. Sometimes people just take it. It takes a while to like pack everything up and give it to people. And they need to stop. It was a disaster again. And this time for different reasons. This time it just felt like even more people wanted merchandise because there were even more people at the Fan Fest. And because they had all these Fan Festival exclusives, and they had the lore book, which wasn't a Fan Fest exclusive, and the Odin statue, which you could see the Zantetsuken emote on the Proto Ultima battle challenges, probably on the other ones too. It was not prepared. It was just not well prepared. So still the one place where they need to improve a lot. And if they get that right, it'd be good. Registration was easy. Everything else was easy. Getting into the events was easy. Doing the challenges was easy. And I don't mean the challenges were always easy. I just mean like the lines moved fast. They kept everything flowing very well. Even with the PvP and the trial that I saw those moving along nice and smooth, and that was fantastic. So I don't forget the Moogle slippers. What about Moogle slippers? Woo! There we go. Look at that. Woo! Moogle slippers. I'm wearing them because my feet are killing me after walking all week, and these actually help pad it a little bit. So I'm this weekend. Those of you wondering, content-wise, so I am going to be doing several videos both on the trailer and on the opening keynote, talking about ways things relate to previous games and why that is probably Ida or her sister, and that it's not two fucking. It's not a dancer. It's two monks. It's two monks. I'm going to go and I'm going to research the wuxia thing that I was talking about earlier, the movies. I'm going to find the different forms of martial arts that are present in them. I'm going to find that thing that shows that they're actually two martial arts that meet a perfect equilibrium. And I don't know their names off the top of my head. I really got to find that guy and have him answer my question again because I could not remember what it was. And everyone's like, why would they show two monks in the trailer? Why would they not show a new job? Look at a Realm Reborn's trailer. Look at Heaven's Word trailer. When have they ever shown a new job in a trailer? Why would they even try? Why would they even bother to not reveal a job if they were going to put a new job in the trailer? It's two monks. And then they're like, by the way, you're going to meet this character in 3.5. Monk's the main job of the expansion, in case you couldn't tell. It's two monks. I'm going to ruin your dreams, but it's two monks. That's the truth. Go watch some 1950s Chinese movies. Go watch some 2016 Chinese movies. Some wuxia movies, and you'll see. Go watch Kung Fu Panda. He does that. He does the same exact kind of moves in Kung Fu Panda when he's practicing with the fucking little rat that I can't remember his name right now. All right? It's two monks. That's all I got to say. On that note, I'm going to stream a little bit of Final Fantasy XIV before I do Mondays with Mr. Happy. So thank you everyone for listening to the Day 2 vlog. Like I said, looked forward to a lot of videos regarding the lore from the lore book and the stuff from the trailer and the opening keynote and all that stuff. Anyway, I'm going to get over to stream some Final Fantasy XIV. I'm going to wrap up on the YouTube side here, though, so thank you for watching over on YouTube. Thank you for watching on Twitch as well, but show's not over for you guys. It's over for the YouTube people. So YouTube, until next time, take care.